Yeah, Long Island. Yeah. Who am I? Well, I don't have my blackboard. I'm Lynn. We're being real and raw here with.
I'm Brian.
I'm being raw with
Okay,
you,
Lynn, that,
Mr.
that was like the saddest Midwestern version of Long Island I've ever heard, or Mountain
Who
West.
are you?
Who are you? Like
Who
I'm thinking
are
of
you?
Joey from Friends. Who are you? Who are
Yeah.
you?
Well, you know what's really funny is I got to talk to Jen Gittimore and I felt so at home with her with the accent. I was like, oh man. So today you might hear a lot of it because
You,
that
you,
made me
you
feel
and
comfortable.
then if you're like Manhattan or whatever, it's like who you? They
Yeah.
don't even say who are you. Like it's abbreviated.
Wait, no, it's where you from? Where are you from?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Well,
my gosh. So
you
how
know
was your weekend?
you'll always be a Long Island girl, but some things will just fade away.
They don't fade away when you're relaxed and you're around the right people. You just end up realizing that you're going to have a guy named Larry on your show and people are going to pick on you when you say Larry. So, but other than that,
Is that like you holding your nose like Larry?
no,
Larry.
Larry. I'm trying to say it like everybody else does.
Okay.
Maybe if I listen to you long enough, I'll pick it up. But it's
It sounds like Phoebe
Larry,
from Friends.
Larry.
Phoebe from Friends, ready before she's ready to get up on stage.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we're just making references of Central Perk and all sorts of stuff. So here we go. It's Monday.
Absolutely. So how are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good. I was up and at 'em. I had to go see a bunch of people today, and yeah, I've been all over the place already. Okay, I got back at like 11:45, and I'm like, man, I better eat some toast and get ready to go here. So
I
yeah,
I
it's off the races so far today.
Yeah, I kind of like the
How about
topic
you?
this week because this actually Thursday night, I knew I was having a problem Thursday night, but it got worse Friday and Saturday. I kind of had a intestinal
Oh,
blockage
oh,
happening and
oh.
it was very tender. And I was like, which day do I go to the hospital? But I have learned over the years what to do and basically trying to massage my stomach because I've done colon hydrotherapist. I was a
Mhm.
therapist, which has really been helpful for me taking care of myself. But I had to use a massager and a heating pad all night. Luckily, it wasn't my right side. It was that bad that I could have thought it was my appendix, but it was my left side. So I knew that I was having a blockage of some sort, and I knew that it was very impacted and very painful to touch. But
Ooh,
now today, I couldn't even cough without holding down. It was not good. I was like, when do I call it? That's how my life is. Sometimes I have to be like, when do I have to call enough, Lynn, and say, okay, you got to go,
right.
And so, and the thing is mentally, I think it's really important to say, it's going to be okay, and to relax, not to make it any worse,
Right.
and also to realize whatever's going to be. Sometimes you can get through things, and sometimes you can't.
Hmm.
But I was just like, I was very relaxing. This is just going to pass. But it really took me down. I was a little scared,
Hmm.
but finally, I mean, I slept a lot and
Good.
I just relaxed as much as I could. So calling about this week about the topic of you do you and your belief system. My
Yeah.
belief system says, I don't need to run to the hospital as much gastroparesis people do because we're in danger a lot. We're in danger of having a major surgery
Hmm.
of our intestines. But I've also just realized that one, if my mindset is it's going to be okay no matter what. If I have to go, I have to go. But
Right.
I'm taking care of myself. So I I just took it easy. I didn't worry about the fact that I planned a show on Monday. I was kind of worried about that and this and
Right.
that. And so, I mean, I'm just grateful to say that I did do me. I took care of myself. I listened to my body. And I know that, Lynn, you've been in very dangerous situations. I mean, I drove myself to the hospital, like, or to the, it was only down the road, but I mean, it took everything. And my pulse was down to 30.
Hmm.
My heart rate was down to 54 over 30. I took myself, I mean, like, I took everything I could to drive myself there and everything. It's like
Right.
I've been through situations that all I can say is I'm blessed to say it's no big deal. Don't worry. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So,
Yeah.
and helping with your belief system is huge. So it's good that we're going to talk about that this week.
Yeah, thanks everybody that's with us for another week. This actual topic came up from close buddy of mine who I was with a couple weeks ago with him and his family. His wife, Jessica, actually, she said this to me years ago. And, she's a unique personality. She's not everybody's cup of tea. And I think that the more we identify who we are, we become comfortable with that, right? It doesn't mean we openly go out to upset anybody or whatever, but we know who our people are. And as we develop over the next 4 days, we'll actually get into more dimensions of this. But she's the one that actually planted in my head, probably about a year ago. It's like, you do you, and I think it's for the journey we're on together. I think that this week to do deep dive into you do you, I think is really powerful. And just like anything, if you don't have a belief system, you really don't have any foundation. So I think, and everybody's going to witness it differently, but the way in which that you just, you get rid of the noise, like if you're, everything that you're focused on or whatever, you remove all that noise, you know what I mean? Like you are not going to be denied where you want to be in life. And really, I hate to say it, but it's like you're either on that track with somebody or you're not. And if you're not, that's okay. But that person's not going to stop for the journey that they're going to pursue just because somebody doesn't like it.
And let's not mistake this for being narcissistic either.
Right.
And narcissistic tendencies would be saying, well, I'm doing me and being selfish. That's not what we're talking here, because I lived with I was married to two narcissistic people. And so I know the difference. There's one thing to being selfish and totally taking the concept of doing you and being nothing but ruthless and terrible person to other people around. So right. I think that's just, there's so much to say about, let's keep them both definitely separate here.
Well, I mean, no wonder why people get confused throughout life is because it's like if you haven't found your tribe yet, you're going to continue to look and explore and try to identify those people. But no wonder why people could get confused or overwhelmed, because they try to dip their foot in this tribe and then this one. And it's just like, then they're confused about, well, wait a minute, these are, they might be in alignment with my belief system or, who I can be, or if I have to be fake in this one group, but I can be totally transparent in this group and vulnerable. You have to find out what's right for you. But when you're able to put your stake in the ground to say, hey, here's what I stand for, here's who I am, and you just go about your business. You're not looking for a pat on the back. You just do what you do, right? You're not looking for accolades. You continue to, whatever that shining light is, like if you're in a tunnel, whatever guides you to where you're going to be, the only person that has to know that is you.
Well, and that just reminds me to say that you got to really realize when you are around a group of people, is this my tribe where I can actually be me?
Absolutely.
Because if you're around people that you can't be you or that don't understand you, then you're better off not opening your mouth.
Correct.
And that was a lesson I learned this past week. And it's like, it's really great to know that sometimes people aren't going to get me, but instead of having them misconstrue to getting me, I sometimes feel silence is golden. Right. And just don't open your mouth till you know if these are your tribe or not. Yeah. It's just very, very important.
Well, and here's the thing is that you shouldn't be taken back. You just now know that it's like you can't relate to those people in that way, and that's okay.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But also I will say this though, is that if you run into people in the same tribe, anybody that is trying to disrupt that or trying to rag on somebody, they better watch out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of blunt and I'm straightforward, I'm brash, but it's like the only way that I get there is if I feel one of my peoples are under attack for no reason, right? Yeah. Or if somebody has such a narrow-minded view about things that it's like they're only willing to accept one viewpoint, it's like, wait a minute, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Since when is this the law? Since when is one point of view everything?
Right.
And just the fact is that if you are not going to be willing to understand another's point of view and that this is the only way it is and that's concrete, it's like we're not going to get along. I'm sorry for the long haul. We're not going to get along.
Well, it's just the way, the fact that you can, as a coach or anybody, you can make a statement, but realize someone might challenge you by the verbiage you're using.
Correct.
And so other people feel compelled, well, that might seem right, but my belief system doesn't say that that's how you should look at it.
Right.
Everybody's individual, but you should have a place where you can go ahead and be who you are. And Scott said
Scott's
something.
here.
You want to read that?
Yeah, Scott says, and I quote, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest. Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Hi, Scott. Thanks for being here.
Lip lock. You either
shut up. I'm already blushing.
You either well, see right there, I just intensified the blush. So you either live life on your terms, or you're going to live it on somebody else's terms. Period.
Exactly.
It doesn't get any more simple than that.
Thank you, Scott, for being here and for the comment.
Lip lock.
Stop it. I swear, when I see you, I'm going to beat you up. That Latino chick is going to come and go.
Okay, bring it.
Yeah, you're teasing it.
This Miss Western boy, don't be mistaken. I ain't going to be running away. Okay. So.
Hi, Sandy.
Sandy's here.
There's always replays, so we're glad that you're here. Aww.
Thanks for being here, Sandy. So it's, I mean, I know exactly the thing that we're talking about here. I mean, the context of it, but it just blows my doors off that it's just like, okay, when I think of somebody as a coach, or I think of somebody, I think he is jealous. Yeah. Absolutely, Scott. Yes, I am.
Okay, let's just keep going. See,
Lynn, that's known as a callback. That's known as a callback. So what I'm just trying to say is that anybody that I deem as a coach, they challenge people, but they're not afraid of being challenged themselves.
Right.
And plus, the best coaches I've ever found, I respect them for who they are, but just remember is that you can't get respect until you give it.
Right.
And that's a day-by-day thing. That's not just like, I respect that person, and then from the moment that happens, that's always the way it is. It's like, no, respect is earned day by day, right? And especially when somebody didn't deserve the treatment, I'm gonna go and hang out with all my peeps and fight for them more than I'm gonna do anybody else.
Well, put it this way: it just comes down to we should be more impeccable with our words.
Right.
If you say things in general, you need to realize some people are going to react to it in defense, and they're talking about themselves or whatever.
Well, and let's get not lost in the minutia. Right? Like, what is the whole context of this situation? It's to make people better, is to learn skills, to be better at our craft. I mean, let's not get lost in the minutia about how that happens just because one person deems, their visual or how they did it as being the only way. Yeah. That's like saying that that art is only one way and watercolors that's not art, or, this gets in the weeds real quick.
Well, and that is why I said, your belief system is one thing, but when you get a bunch of people together to mastermind, you need to realize what kind of people you have together, and that everything is said for the greater good. Right. And so it shouldn't be inflicted as personal defense or anything like that. It's just different viewpoints for the betterment of the whole group to understand. Right. And so,
go ahead, Lynn. I was
going to say, I love that statement. Be more impeccable. Yes.
Absolutely.
I learned that because I sometimes don't articulate the best way out of heat of the moment. So I try to take back and be impeccable with my words so that they could be understood the best as possible. But again, it's one of those things where people's belief systems are totally different. And that's what we said, don't misconstrued us talking today about your belief system and doing you as a narcissistic thing. Now, I've been married to two people that have been narcissistic, and so I know that this isn't a hard ass, I'm going to do me because that's the rule. No, doing you and still being considerate of other people and seeing it from another person's point of view of you being an ass is very imperative to change your belief system that the world evolves around you only. Correct. So that's one thing I really want to relay here, that it's true, do you, but do yourself where you're respectful to others and not.
To go a little bit deeper, just to dive in this a little deeper, where this came from is that, I can get along with a lot of different people, right? But where this context came up and where this was said to me by my buddy's wife is that it's like I was trying to, I had an umbrella that was wide open for everybody to show up, but it seemed like I was getting frustrated by people that I shouldn't be around. But that frustration was something I guess I just put up with instead of cutting the cord, being powerful in my own skin to do it. And I'm a better person as a result of it.
The wetwood you were around.
I absolutely. Brazilian wetwood. Brazilian redwood or wetwood. Redwood, wetwood. Yeah. Redwood. That's a word for yeah. And if Larry from KC is listening, Friday's going to be a great show with words that we have left over last week. And thanks, as a side note, thanks to Ron Pruitt for
oh my gosh,
stepping up last time.
Ron was awesome. I mean, even from the intro when he's like, I don't have a board.
But he's going like this. He's going like this. Like
yeah. and I loved how I didn't know what you had on your board and you didn't know what I had on my board, but we were both about welcoming him. And so I thought that was so freaking cool.
Yeah. He didn't get the memo that the price of admission is a dry erase board.
It was just the intro of that. I could watch that 10 times. It was just like really awesome.
You know, he's like one hand, he doesn't have a dry erase board, so he starts dancing a little bit with his hands, you know, so it was very cool.
I mean,
backstage, backstage, man, what an amazing guy. And him and I became Facebook friends, and we talked a little bit behind the scenes, through Messenger, but what an authentic and just straight up real guy. And those are my people.
See, Brian, we have a lot of good people in common.
Absolutely.
We are just such kindred spirits. I just freaking love it so much. It's just like, if we only knew life could be this easy a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just like Scott and I keep talking, like I talked to him about me learning NLP, and he's like, I'm a master. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so freaking cool. And it's just, he does podcasts. I do podcasts. I got him into StreamYard. I mean, like it's just, it does all happen, like it's supposed to, and it's just such a good feeling. And, I just wish that for everyone. I wish that for everyone.
It just blows my doors out by how simple it can be. Now, there's something I just thought about is that if anybody's ever felt like they're on a lonely island, or like that they were doing that they ever thought about that they might be doing it wrong or they need to conform, it's like, this is exactly what we're speaking about, right? Is that you're on an lonely island. Am I the only one that thinks this way and feels this way? It's like, and then you question yourself if you're just so far out there.
I just thought of Castaway, Mr. Wilson.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't need to be on that. You don't need to be Wilson.
Could you imagine me with this like big thick beard and my hair? Wilson. Hey, hold on. Let me get the coffee out of my beard. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. I'm cracking up over here.
So it's you do you has nothing to do with being narcissistic or anything. It's a conscious decision, and when my buddy's wife Jessica said it, it was like it hit me like a ton of bricks, because she saw that I was on a certain path. But it's like whenever I talk to her, like we have really deep conversations that are no nonsense. And there's just a series of actions you want to take without even, it's just, you want to do that in the world, right? You want to be challenged by it because that truly defines who you are. So you do you is something where you just choose a path, you find your people and you commit to it, right? You're going to have haters. You're going to have, whatever. And I love Christopher Rausch's group, like Misfits for Life. And I love that because for those that might be a little different or don't look at, they look at things differently, right? There's nothing wrong there. They just look at it differently. They live a different lifestyle, right? Should they get condemned for it? Absolutely not, right? But some of the brightest minds come out of people that, people might write over or not even give a second glance to, which is unfortunate, and I love that because everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, and it's like to take the time to listen to somebody's story that it's individual and it's their own. man, it's just truly powerful to be in that space.
Well, that's why I got to hurry up and write my authenticity is the first casualty.
Casualty. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. And that's just it. That's why I got to get ready to write my book, because I'm just the kind of person that I don't let too many people in.
I love hearing people's stories, and yeah, absolutely.
And I haven't let people in because I've had enough haters. I've had enough people assume they know me and had no idea who I was. And because I was a badass Puerto Rican tough ass, it was like, it's like, she's Lynn Serrano, the baseball team, like, that's Lynn Serrano. I'm like, well, it's because you assholes think because I want a French kiss, I want to get screwed. No, you're not going there. I'm not doing that. I'm not one of those girls. I'll beat your ass, So I'm just saying, like, they didn't know that I, what I had, grew up and what I'd been through in my life. I kept that very private. And yet, I pretty much, had preserved who I was for myself, because I couldn't stand when I would hear other people talk about other people and bring people down. I mean, I learned that I felt bad for that person. I empathized with that person because speaking my truth,
That's great. Yep.
being transparent back then would be out of the norm, but I just felt like there was just too much noise back then. When I was growing up, you couldn't talk about you being sexually abused. I mean, you just couldn't.
Right.
What did he say, Lynn? When I thought you were Italian. Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, Scott, but that's the other thing. I wouldn't tell anybody I was Puerto Rican because I knew how the Puerto Rican people were treated. I mean, I knew that they were thought of the scum of the earth in our school. And I was like, you know what? You guys get along with me. And you guys are so stupid. You hate Puerto Ricans, but you love me. Like, you guys are so stupid. You're stupid. Matter of fact, I did not say I was Puerto Rican until Facebook.
Right.
And after my whatever reunion, and I put the reunion pictures up, for my class. Again, I just found it was easier to have less resistance until I knew I was strong enough, because I only had wet wood around me. I mean, like my ambers were very light. Like, I knew I wanted to be this person. I knew that, you had to be chose to be in the speech and leadership class. And I was chose for that, which was a true honor, but it came at a price where everyone was, it was just popularity and all this stuff. And I wasn't of popularity. I was more the hard ass, nobody's going to mess with me kind of girl, but that was okay. I mean, I truly have been blessed for everything I've been through and everything I've seen. I've been blessed to be able to say that I was on the enemy lines, like all serious enemy lines. I got to realize that these guys are just ignorant and I still love them. And I just love that everyone respected the fact that I was just loving. I had no time for the hate because I already hated a lot of things in my life. And I've learned that hate isn't in my vocabulary. I've learned a long time ago, you don't hate anything because it'll just keep persisting.
Right.
And so, but doing me was me being silent, me taking my introvert and doing me and not telling anyone, so I love being mysterious and I love being mystique. And I only let certain people into that comfort zone of mine, and the rest, they can think whatever the hell they want of me, but I'm not going to give them all the pieces.
Right.
So, it's just because I don't want to do the up one. You tell me one story, I tell you another one, it ups you. I don't like that. I don't like that resume of telling everyone everything I went through for them to understand why I'm compassionate with them. It makes no sense. Just like you and I, 20 minutes talking to each other, we just knew we were connected. I didn't have to give you my resume.
No.
And that's what I mean. And those people I connect with. Everybody else, sorry, you can.
I want to go back to something that Sandy said a little bit ago, and it was about where she just loves listening to people's stories and viewpoints. Is that this happens less and less in the world, right? I mean, regardless of the health crisis, right? But it's like to actually have somebody where time doesn't matter, and you're able to just sit there and be with somebody, there's going to be a moment, or there usually is like where, you know, it's a place where life should be, right? Everybody should be in those places in life where you can be with somebody and go wherever the conversation's going to go without a relevance of time, upstaging somebody, and to just truly connect and understand, right? You know, and it's just it's such a special place to be, and it's coveted when it happens, but it's so rare these days because everybody's working so fast and doing so many different things that for people to just connect and to not trying to pass an agenda or whatever, and just to go in with a blank canvas into a conversation, but they know that they want to be there with that person. It's I just had to point it out because I remember having conversations with people where it's like there was no agenda, and they kind of look at me funny because I'm not trying to get anything out of them. I'm not trying to whatever.
That's
to
how our conversation.
Absolutely. And it's so rare these days because everybody's like, you know, like touching their wallet to make sure it's in their back pocket versus somebody trying to disguise an authentic conversation with a pitch or buy my crap. And it's like, no, that just dilutes the whole deal.
And you know, I'm glad you brought this up too, because I had the privilege and the honor to actually do a FaceTime with Sandy.
Oh,
and
nice.
Oh my gosh, this girl, she's just like my soul sister. I love her. It was great. We talked about so much in that little bit of time, and I just love her. I mean, I can't even tell you. I love her. So people relate to you where they're at, not where you are.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I really enjoyed my time with Sandy, and I'm looking forward to doing another FaceTime with her.
And another thing in what you said, Sandy, is that don't expect them to come over to you, right? Like Dale Carnegie talks about this. In 2 months, if you genuinely get to know other people, you can get to know more people in 2 months than if they try to get to know you. So be willing to be that leader, take the ownership, and be the one to engage them.
Yeah.
Because if you ever notice, like people in this, obviously different personalities are gonna stand out here. But it's like if you got two people and they're waiting for each other to engage each other, boy, that's gonna be a fun conversation.
There'll be no lip lock going on.
No, hey, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, hold on a second.
Okay.
Hey, Scott. I know Scott's with us.
Right, shut up.
Lynn told she's going to beat my butt when she sees me. Now she brings it out herself. Okay, I think that all bets are off in terms of how much we use this lip lock deal because she just called it out herself. You know, Scott, put a message in there if you agree with me.
Oh, hush, hush. I was just saying, as in, you know, a couple can talk so much, but, you know, you ain't going to get nowhere with I.
I'm thinking of like, you know.
Oh, Heather's in the house.
Heather's
hey,
here.
Heather. Nice to see you.
Oh, Heather. Yeah, great to see you here, but I need a lip lock. I'm jealous.
Oh, my gosh. But anyways, the point of the story is that
hold on a second.
Okay.
I had an actual Michelle. We all know Michelle, right? She's usually always because she's a professional photographer and she joins us. She actually wanted to set aside the words of wet wood for limp noodle.
Oh, well, limp noodle doesn't work with the kindling of okay. My story. So we can put that in there somewheres, but I mean but the limp people don't put noodles any kind in a fire. So so it just it doesn't if it sounded like it could replace it really easy, but as far as the wet noodle, it'd be like
I just had to mention that, you know, like random thought, you know what I mean? But I saw that in the comments from Friday, and she goes, "You should replace, you know, wet wood with limp noodle." I think it was, and I'm like, okay, well, not going to happen, but you know, we'll lip lock is fair game for all. Woohoo! There we go.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, thank you for the confirmation, Scott. So my butt doesn't get beat when I see Lynn later this summer.
Oh my gosh!
Scott said so. There's my verification.
Oh my gosh! But anyhow, seriously, it really is one of those things where, you know, you doing you and your belief system. It really comes down to knowing, having like-minded people that are similar to you, and that your energy, I mean, it really starts with your energy and the vibration that you guys have among you. That's just, if you can read the energy between you, I mean, that right tells you if there's friction or not friction.
Yep.
And you to be able to be you, being you, it's, you don't go in a room and, okay, good example. You don't go to Florida, and there's places in Florida, I don't know where, but I just know, I do have a friend that used to live in one of these areas, but they have nude areas, nude beach areas or whatever. And then you don't go into the wrong place and not be dressed. And what the hell's wrong with everybody? Like, the analogy is, it's like you'll learn to be, and to be more where you want to be, your environment. You make your environment.
I mean, I just had a thought in terms of like let's say that somebody doesn't have a belief system. Let's just say hypothetically, they don't. I'll keep my wet wood. You can have. Oh yeah, way to go, Ray. Oh my God, that is such a fantastic.
So Michelle doesn't win on this one.
Yeah, that's a fantastic phrase right there, my friend. Ray, that oh my God, we got to screenshot that bad boy. I'll keep my wet wood. You can have your wet noodle. Oh my God, I'm gonna screenshot that bad boy. That's fantastic. I gotta see Lynn's face, and she's like, she can hardly breathe. That was fantastic, Ray. Ray, I'm giving you a fist bump right in the camera, man. That's a freaking awesome phrase right there. Oh, Ray, you're on fire today, man. We love you. Where I'm moving soon to Florida. Sandy wants to know where this place is at.
I forget I forget where she lived, but she lived on a nude beach area or whatever. But naked Connolly, but whatever.
Before the wet noodle comment, I got thrown off track. So what I was going to say is that it's just very difficult for me to believe or conceive that somebody's going to leave the belief system, that they're going to forfeit their own belief system for one of somebody else, right?
Mm.
And it's like, wow, how mind-numbing and how artificial is that, right? Like, obviously I'm biased because I don't come from that place, but where they even don't have a say in the matter of their own life, or what they stand for. Wow, that's I can't conceive it because I don't live it, but just to take that point of view where they're living life on somebody else's terms and not their own.
Yeah.
Wow, it just seemed, ooh.
Well, that happens to some people in relationships that conform to bullshit, and they're not living their authentic self. They're not being them. And their belief system is they feel like they don't want to be by themselves if they don't, they have to conform. Shit, that's why I went through 3 divorces. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, you just don't, you can only take so much bullshit for so long, and it comes out, and then it comes out ugly. It comes out in a way, because you can only take so much when you're not being yourself,
right? And
being around the people that, and you're right, codependency.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing, and so I feel that people need to understand that either at the beginning, Houston, we have a problem, or you wait the long term and pay for it dearly. You're right, Ray. Ugly resentment. Yep. And that is just not a place I want to live anymore. Shit. I'm 55 now. I have to make my choices more wisely. I pretty much have to say, your choices may be limited when you're older, but the point is you got to realize, what are you going to fight your battles? What are the common grounds and common things you have that make it worthwhile? And then, and respect and all those things, but they have to be part of your belief system. I've been with people that belief system has not been the same. And I'll tell you, I work with a lot of relationship people, over 5,000 people in 15 years. And I know about relationships, and I know about all this stuff. And a lot of times people don't cover the shit before they get married or when they're engaged. And we've talked about that. Yeah. But, things get worse, not better, when you get married, people. Right. I mean, that's the realization. That's why there's so many freaking divorces. That's why people marry the wrong people. People get in a comfort zone, whether it's for social status or this or that. They're not being themselves. And then after 30 days, 90 days, you realize the honeymoon's over and you're still pretending.
Exactly.
It's such a sad state because your belief system is not compared and you're not being allowed to be authentically you. That's a big ass pandemic, bigger than coronavirus. Okay.
Tammy's here, or Tracy's here.
Yes, Tracy.
We don't get a do-over, but we do get a makeover to try again. Yeah. Yeah. So Ray says, Lynn, I covered the bases. It has flaws and like lip lock. Flaws.
So anyhow, the bottom line is that we really need to take a look at the fact that are your beliefs being compromised? Mm-hmm. Does this really rub you raw? Because if it rubs you raw, that chafing is going to get worse. It ain't going to get better. Ain't no callus going to help that situation.
But I can speak from experience. I was only with this woman for like 10 months, but it was like I was very upfront about, relations, intimate relations before marriage. And, I was, by me taking, I don't know, a year or two off, is that was very clear to me, right? Very clear to me that this is not negotiable. And I was very clear to her up front. And she's like, no, based on her past, it was totally the opposite. And I said, well, this is, we can stop communicating if you want, but I just want to be real and upfront that I don't want to waste anybody's time. Because I've heard stories about people just playing a game and doing all this nonsense. And I'm like, I hear it more so from women saying that about men, but I'm like, okay, I wouldn't do that anyways, but it's, and to be straight up, regardless of the outcome is great because it's like, I'm putting my stake in the ground. Here's what I'm taking a stand for. I'm not going to change my stand because this is who I am. Right. And it ended up not working out in the end, but we kept going back to it as if my view was going to change. And it's like, no, I'm just letting you know this right now. I don't want to waste anybody's time. If this doesn't work for you, we can part ways and see you later. So it feels good to do that, regardless of the outcome or where it's going to go.
No, but what would have been worse is you bullshit. No, I'm going to talk about this in 6-10 months after you've built all this other part of the relationship that you like or you don't like. Right. And then you bring this up, a conversation that should have been happening the first 4 weeks together.
Right.
And now you want it to be corrected, or now you're being in demand of that. Right. And you don't see any relief in sight or any compromise or any avenue, and you think I'm going to do what, Yeah. It just, in general, it alone. I mean,
as I reflect on that, that particular experience in my life, I'm so glad that I was honest and upfront that I actually took the time in between my nearly 4-year relationship and took the time to really identify who I wanted to be with and what I was, what I was looking for and not expecting anything less. Right. And that's not meant to be, superiority complex or anything. It's just like, I'm entitled to get what I want out of a relationship if I'm going to give my all. Right. Mm-hmm. And so by taking that time away and to get very clear about it, I'm like, I still hang my hat on it in a very selfless manner that it's like, I was honest and upfront.
And for the record,
I didn't waver from it.
And for the record, you got a cutie. That's all I got to say. Yeah. I love her. She's adorable.
Adorable.
Yeah, tell her. She's adorable.
That said with a little punch, even the head nod. Adorable.
Yeah, I do. You got my approval.
Oh,
I like her. I like her. So,
and that's going in for Friday Solaria. If you're watching right now, adorable is going to be
adorable because she is.
Okay.
But no, it really is. But again, let's look at it this way, Brian. Had you not held to your standards and all this, you wouldn't be in a better relationship than you are now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just people don't realize, there's always options out there. Don't take the first damn freaking vehicle because it might not have that damn.
It might not have the wipers.
Exactly.
Love that, Brian. You stuck to. Yeah, I mean,
yes.
And Sandy, it's like, man, You know, because it's like when you're getting to know somebody, I don't want to waste anybody's time. But
Yeah.
also, though, one of the biggest thing that worked onto me in that scenario is all the men that wasted women's time. They played games and all that, and I'm
Oh
like, no,
yeah.
I don't want that to be. I don't want
Yeah.
that to be in my realm of
Yeah.
how I treated somebody. Never,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it really is. It really is the it just alleviates time and the bullshit. And we ain't got time for that.
No.
Life is so much better when you're in, vibration with the right people, and you can let go of all those inhibitions and all that stuff. And so yeah, stating boundaries, absolutely. It
Yeah.
just respect it, and I mean, if anything, I think I've through my dating stuff, I've become really good friends with some of these guys,
Mm-hmm.
and I got them in the friend zones, and that's cool, and then there's still some that send their best, so what they think is their best feature, and I'm like,
Oh boy.
I don't care about that freaking feature.
Oh boy.
Pictures of those features don't do nothing for me. So you guys,
Oh boy.
just leave those features.
I thought I had a feeling of what you're talking about, but now it's confirmed of what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to see your little friend.
The Godfather reference. Love it. Larry, so your word is feature. Man, that's got to be a word for Friday. I'm sorry. That's just got to be a word for Friday.
All right, get out of here.
Is this more wet noodle tongue? Yeah. Well, depending on the time of day and if somebody got a good night's sleep, it's either a limp noodle or a wet noodle.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. But anyhow, so Ray does hashtag feature.
Yeah. His feature.
Excuse me. Laughing too much. I am so glad I don't have this pain on my left side anymore, or else I wouldn't be able to laugh.
Well, I'll just leave it up to the show. I'm sure we'll work it out.
Oh my gosh. You love this talk. I'm glad you love this talk. We love this
Sandy,
talk
thank
too.
you. I'm just looking down and writing down phrases for a show on Friday. So if I look down, that's why.
So yeah, you do you does not mean sharing your features with others. Especially, that is for sure.
Well, at least not the first time. That might be a little strong.
No, I mean, my goodness, are you not freaking leaving anything for the freaking imagination? Like, holy cow. And I'm just letting you know, my depth of perception is not very good.
My depth.
When it comes to
You're not helping us get back on track, Lynn. You're not helping us. That's okay. I'm not complaining. But you do you is getting further away from the needle. We might be going to a pickle or a noodle here pretty soon. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm cracking up here. So anyhow, so yeah, your belief system on a lot of things really affect. Oh no, new word. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So no.
Hey Ray, give me a little nod. Feature.
Oh, stop. So listen, as far as your belief system, it truly is something that we do not realize. Our belief system hinders us from being able to do you, because we've been told as growing up that there's so many limitations and rules and policies and not accepted and what's accepted and all these things. And over the years, things have changed from where we grew up to what it is now. And it has evolved that way because people's belief systems have been compromised with so much brainwashing, sheeping kind of thinking.
Well, and I think it boils down to it. I mean, after our collective years of experience and life experiences, that it turns out to being one of two options. You're either trying to fit in or stand out. That's it. Oh boy. Please use a Pringles can as Wow, we got wet noodles, features, Pringles cans, all like the perfect recipe for a Monday. I love it.
Sweet peckers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a callback from last week.
Non-wings.
That's sweet. Yeah.
So no, you guys, I'm trying to talk about a serious shit here. Don't let your belief system be corrupted or correct some of your belief system. Swipe away some of the things that don't work for you anymore and ask yourself, is there a fact to that belief system?
Correct.
Is there a substantial fact to say that you should believe that to be true? Because most of the time, there is no truth to some of your belief systems that have kept you down, and it's just like, the last guy I was married, he kept saying, there's no divorce. You're just going to leave me in a pine box. Literally, and I felt like shit. I'm destined to doom here. And, I had my life threatened quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So, the bottom line is I'm like, man, I really can't get away from this situation. And so I was really scared by the time I went to get an order of protection, to be quite honest. Mm-hmm. And so because he even told the officers and everybody in court says, you know what? You can take those guns I have. I have access to more guns. If I want her dead, she'll be dead. So, I was living with that. But, the point is I still had to believe that I still had to stand up for myself. Mm-hmm. And I did. It's sad now because the guy's in a nursing home now, now I feel really bad for him, but this is somebody I feared. I truly feared this man. Wow. And so I just say my belief system, he spent 19 years telling me, you're pretty, but you're fat, and just a lot of belief systems. And I'm like, you know what? I had to not look at my looks, but I had to look at who I was as a person. Yep. And know that I'm beautiful from inside, because I couldn't see any beauty on the outside of myself because that was conditioned for 19 years. Yeah. So now I see my beauty from inside. I don't see it from outside. And now my outside is finally, I'm like at 17 new pounds I've lost. Woo! 17 new pounds I've lost. Matter of fact, my face is, I'll have to find the ones from January to now. It's like, wow, I'm starting to see. Well, like, who the hell is this girl? But seriously, it's I know I can do it when I realized that all I needed to do is go back to who I know I am. Mm-hmm. That's always within yourself. Yep. And don't move from that. Like I said, that whole center, man, of knowing who you are and surrounding by people that love you and believe in you and don't judge you for where you're at right now. Mm-hmm. That's the good wood I got around me. I let go of the wet wood. I truly, the people that sparkle and give me, or that are my kindling for my spirit, I can't thank them enough. And Brian, you're one of them. And I thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I just love being around my people, the people that just know that, I might not articulate. Sometimes I articulate myself really well and sometimes I don't, but they know me. And it's like, we can laugh about it because we at least say, okay, is this what you mean? Or is that what you mean? Because, we're only human and we only get to know people. And that's the other thing. We should get to know people, not just by their behavior, but what do they really stand for? Mm-hmm. What do they really have that you like about them? Not one incident, not just this or that, right, but as a whole, because we all have good days and we all have bad days. Correct. And we all have to defend ourselves when we feel it's necessary.
And I think that the more that we kind of dig down deep, and we'll continue to do this over the next 3 days, I just wrote this down for Friday, is that it says breaking you down versus building you up, right? Mm-hmm. In my opinion, it's very clear. When you're doing you, by who you find in your tribe, they're there to build you up.
Right.
You show up just who you are every day. Everything is great. You can be yourself. You can speak your mind. They're going to comment. They're going to, you don't even need the comments, but that it's like you're living who you are instead of trying to be like, ooh, I wonder if I'm going to upset that person because I'm trying to fit in versus maybe they're not my people anyway. So it's like to me, it's very clear. It's like, either you're constantly defining who you are, who your people are, what you stand for, and anybody else bounces off, right? They may continue to attempt to try to be a part in your world, but it's like they either fit or they don't.
Yeah.
And you put you stop fueling that fire, and you fuel the people that are really a stand for you, right?
Right.
The people that build you up, the people you can't wait to talk about, the people that are up to big things in life that you just get along with. There's chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing is that they never tell you you can't do it. If somebody tells you or limits your potential, that's probably not somebody you want to surround yourself with. You
You,
know, when you find your tribe, those people want you to succeed. You know, it's like a family, right?
you know, Brian, I got to say this. I am blessed to say this, that I don't have to be a name dropper. I have some influential
Yep.
Billionaires, millionaires, and some high society people that have had my back, that
Yep.
I don't think how many people can say that when your house is going foreclosure, somebody comes and helps you. I can't say that when I didn't have any credit and I needed a vehicle, that somebody that knows my character went ahead and bought a car and let me make the payments.
Yep.
Okay. I can't tell you how many people, when you say that, shit, I'm a good person and I don't think I've done those things. And I mean, like, I'm just blessed that I've been blessed for many things and then not known where they come from or why, but people have seen, and I don't look for pity. I don't look for any of that stuff, but I surround myself with people that just truly can see who I am. And I'm just blessed to know that, you know, I've been in survival mode for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
until I felt comfortable enough to come out and finally, you know, say who I am,
Right.
truly say, because I learned to go away from that, because, you know, statistically, it was said that this is the way it was. I wouldn't allow those labels to stick with me. That's why I went and chose to be silent. I learned to be silent about many things for a long time. And now I'm not as silent about it, but I just feel like I need to be the voice for those who feel that no one would understand unless if they spoke up. And so, anyways, I want to read some of these comments here we're getting.
Let's bring on. So Ray says, Lynn met me at my worst. She took time to get to know me. Thank you. I stood up by simple kindness.
You're welcome.
And Ray, yes, we're grateful for you. And also, though, I know that, you know, working those long hours at your new job and whatnot, but man, your spirit is so high, and you have nothing but love for people. So keep it up. And if we can help in any way, by all means, man. Yeah. Find your tribe. Absolutely. You know, but don't sacrifice yourself. You know, hey, beautiful people. You both fit in my world. Cheers.
Oh, we love you. We love you so much.
And by the way, Charles, congratulations on that listing that you got that we've talked about.
He did. Yay!
He got a different one because he met with somebody over the weekend, and they signed with him. Yeah.
Good. Congratulations.
So Sandy says, I do like my sandpaper people.
Oh my God.
Find your tribe. Gratefulness. Yes. Abrasive and grumpy are my people.
Wait a second. I consider you one of my besties. What are you trying to say? You ever reword that? No, just kidding. Oh, Lori's here.
Oh. Hey, Lori. Just hopped on silent was my way for a very long time. Wow.
Well, thank you for being here, Lori.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. Absolutely, yeah. Ray.
So we thank you guys always for being here, supporting us and knowing. But, you know, we just want you to start thinking and realizing that this can be as simple or as difficult as we make it in life.
Correct.
And, you know, when I find myself in a bad situation or a situation that's upset me or anything, I just throw love and let go. I just love it, let it go. You know, the situation is what it is, but it's not permanent. It doesn't, you know, it's not a life sentence. It's not whatever. It's just you talk it out and then you let it go. Right. You know, you just give love and let go. And
when you try to script, you know, like let's say you had something that happened or whatever, when you try to script how it's going to be or when you're going to meet that person or whatever, it never happens, right? It just never does. But when you're just being you, who knows who you're going to meet?
Yeah.
You know? And they either like you or they don't, and I'm okay either way, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be hindered by who I am in my own self-expression. Now, there's a distinction there. I'm not going to make anybody wrong, right? And if I do it without me knowing, well, I'll apologize and man up to that. But I'm just going to be me, and anything I do I'm not gonna call anybody out, right? And I think that a
Absolutely.
lot of people marry those two together. Is that if you're self-expressed and you're doing yourself from your point of view, is that you're going to make people wrong? No, you're not making anybody wrong. You're just
No.
choosing to put your stake in the ground for what you stand for, and you find your people. What did
Right.
Chokman say? Let's throw some positivity at each other and let's go. Yes,
That's
man, he's
right.
fired
Hey,
up today.
Charles. That's right. Well, congratulations. I'm really happy for you, Charles. Really
You can
happy
definitely
for you.
tell that the green tea is flowing today for Chuck.
All
You
right.
know what I mean?
But it really comes down to the fact that we all are vibing here right now. We can all
Yep.
say that we can have our belief system. It doesn't matter. But I was speaking to Jen Gittymore earlier, and we're talking about the pickle
I got to
and the
watch
thing.
that.
And yeah, it was really good. But the pickling thing, and she said, it's sad that, it seems like we can't politically talk what we want because it puts you in a pickle. And she's right. It just, so I said to her as a suggestion is you just got to be careful who you're around with. General public, it's not a good place. But if you have a group, and I mean, you can make your own Facebook group, for goodness sakes, make sure you're around a safety zone of people that you can actually be you. I mean, because you can't always pick everybody in your business or this or that. There's always going to be plenty of people that are not in your wheel of people, but
Right.
you still have to deal with them. But keeping that common ground, that's fine, and keeping common ground stuff. But then have those, accountability. This is what I want to talk about here, and this is what I want to talk about there. Because the more you do that, the more you get of that, I believe.
Yep.
So,
Ray, have an awesome day. Cheers, brother. Very nice. Yes, Charles is acknowledging Ray. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
when I think of you do you, and I just wrote it down for a topic on Friday is relatedness, right? Is you do you. And it's like whoever attracts you, it's about finding that common bond, right? It's relatedness, nothing. Everybody's got stuff going on in their life, and the more transparent and vulnerable you can be, I think the more it blends people versus like the superficial, life is great, blah, blah, blah. If we dig down, like when you're just talking to somebody in passing, oh, it's great. But we don't know their world and they don't trust you enough to tell you.
Right.
But if you go a little bit deeper, it's like, hey, anybody that I've ever met that says, hey, if I ask them, how are you doing? They're like, man, life sucks. If they're that transparent with me, I know that this is somebody I have to talk to.
Right, because they're being vulnerable and they're feeling
100%.
that they can be open to yourself. Absolutely.
Yep.
Let's see.
Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. 100%.
Absolutely.
Scott.
Absolutely.
Yes. There's your lip lock partner, Lynn.
I know. Anyways, getting me all blushing again. Damn it,
well, I
guys.
figure I had to do it, because it's Scott confirmed that it's okay to use. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. But seriously, your belief system and you do you. That's a good example. Scott and I we were two kids that actually went to 4 or 5 different schools between the time we saw each other, and the fact that we ended up the same school my last year in school because I graduated a year early was great. We both had that every morning. It was positive. We'd hug and kiss, and we went our own way because we knew we had all these challenges of just being in a world that was crazy for us. No one else understood that. And so and it's like we've picked up where we left off as far as just we can talk about, and then we have more things in common, and we're like, holy shit. So it's really cool. But again, it's the bond and the energy you have with someone that, it just, I mean, I won't ever forget going to his house one time, and he was so bored. His sister opened his door, his room. He's in a bunk bed. He's in a top bunk bed with a fishing pole, just go like this. He's like, oh, hi. It's so bored in this room. I don't know if he remembers me saying that, but it was really funny. I'm like, okay, so that's what he's doing. Dry fishing in his room.
Just so everybody knows, coming up in June, Lynn will be by Scott in Florida.
Yeah. So it'll be good to see him. But Shut up. Him and I are going to do a podcast sometime. Oh, and what's culture said?
Wet wood and lip lock. Always a great combo. Oh, that's another screenshot, Charles. Oh, put that back up there. Put that back up there. That's another freaking great screenshot. Oh, this will be I'll create a graphic for one of our weekend shows with wet wood and lip lock. Oh, yeah. Way to go, Charles. Man.
Shut up, Ray. Yeah, I said dry fishing.
Dry fishing. Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. I got a half a Ziploc bag full of phrases and words today. Happy for you, Lynn.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. So anyhow, so we are running. Look at this. Oh, what's that? Oh, we can broadcast what from your studio? Oh, that's yeah, cool. I can't wait. Hey, so it is 1 o'clock. Or 1 o'clock. It is 1 hour. It's the
Lynn's flustered, everyone. Lynn's flustered.
Lynn's like, shit, where's the clip to get the hell out of here moment?
Look at those cheeks. Look at her cheeks. Look at her cheeks.
Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you.
Thanks to everybody for being on our show today, all of our loyal listeners and all the comments. I'm going to go back through them after the show. And to everybody catching the replay, we're glad you spent an hour with us.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.